All right, my friends, it's 2026, January 2026, and we're here to figure out whether or not the ProCaliber 6 Gen 2 is still relevant. And you can help us decide. Let's get on topic. Hey everybody, it's Thomas with Get Out Arizona, and you are watching another great episode of Bike Showcase. Once again, I'm here at the Trek bicycle stores of West Phoenix.
Yes, we are.
Yes, oh man, I'm getting ready to start day drinking already. Because it's where the cool kids hang out, and me. And I'm supposed to be the sober one today. Joined by my dashing co-host, Brandon Van Leuven. Brandon, how the hell are you?
Doing very well, thanks.
All right, so we've tried this 3 times, my friend. It's amazing that we've gotten this far on this take. So before we get started, we do want to give a big shout out to Dave from Delaware.
Yeah, and Dave's wife.
And Dave's
I'm
wife.
sorry, Dave's wife. I don't remember your name, but
It's because he day drinks all the time. That's the problem there. So, and I wasn't here to take notes. So, but yes. So Dave and his wife are in town. They're staying in Scottsdale. Dave watches the channel. My God, that's 2 people in like a couple months.
that's pretty
that have
darn
been
nice. And
coming
for people
through.
that don't live here, Scottsdale is, I don't consider it close to here.
No, it's about a 50-minute drive.
Yeah, they made the effort to come out and say hi, see the shop. Thank you. Super cool.
Absolutely. So we super appreciate you, Dave, and your wife for making that trek. And I hope your stay in Arizona has been good and people have been treating you well. So that being said, we are here to talk about the ProCaliber 6 Gen 2 and its relevance in 2026. Now, the ProCaliber line has gone through a shakeup. I mean, when I see them in the shop, I'm kind of surprised. I honestly thought Trek did away with the bikes, to be honest with you. I'm not sure where they sit in their lineup anymore, Brandon.
Hardtails are a tough sell these days for sure. And a little bit of background on this ProCaliber. So it's aluminum.
Okay.
ProCalibers in the past have always been carbon fiber with ISO-speed or some form of ISO-speed. Now it's ISO-bow. But to simplify things, they got rid of Excalibur. If y'all remember Excalibur, that was our entry-level.
Great movie.
Aluminum entry-level race bike.
Yep.
So just to simplify things, now we're just going to call this ProCaliber, but in the aluminum version.
Okay.
By Excal.
What was that? Not the Domane, the Amonda. They got rid of the carbon and just went to an aluminum.
Right.
As far as that goes.
So they're just trying to simplify things, get rid of a few SKUs. I'm behind it. That's fine. We don't need so many different models.
Spoiler alert! At $1,800, just buy a Roscoe.
Spoiler
at that
for sure.
point. So, okay, but you still have a few customers that are riding like the Super Caliber. You know, they do have the carbon fiber ProCaliber, and they enjoy it. It's a different hardtail for a different rider. So before we really start getting into, pull the camera off and examine it more closely, who would this bike be for when they come in looking for, hey, I'm a racer, or I do, cross country, or whatever the case may be? Where does this bike fall in line for that?
No, exactly. Probably you're definitely a cross country rider.
Okay.
That's fine. People that love single track, people that like a bike that's handling is a little more crisper than perhaps the Roscoe.
Right. And this bike's
and
super
definitely,
light, actually.
What did you say?
It's super light.
No, it's not.
When I lifted it up, I was like, oh man, this is light.
Oh, really? That's good. All right.
Yeah.
You must be working out.
It's those fucking pedal assists I have, they all weigh a ton. So.
That's probably it. Your perspective is gone.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Right.
You got me off track. So I think this is a
Cross-country rider,
fantastic
single-track rider.
Someone who wants to start getting into racing.
Okay.
Fantastic. This might be a perfect bike for maybe that spoiled high school NICA kid that gets to have a much better bike than I ever had in high school.
Right.
This would be a great entry-level race bike for that kid.
Okay.
Without spending thousands and thousands. We're still spending over 1,000, almost 2,000 for this thing.
Right.
But again, what do you always say? It's not cheap. We understand that. But in the grand scheme of things, this is still on the entry-level side and not completely out of the realm of a parent maybe getting this so that their kid has a nice bike to race in the high school leagues.
Now, I like Burn Peak. I watch his videos, and he did a video, and I say this, I bring this back up. I'm going to link that down below. Where you guys kind of torched us in the comments, some of you, not all of you, some of you, as far as like, hey, don't buy a Walmart bike, buy a good quality bike. Yeah, he broke both the Walmart bikes that he got. So
Oh, yeah?
test riding those. So remember, they're Walmart bikes, and if that's what your budget is, I respect you. Stay within your budget, but don't forget for that same, say $750 to $1,000 you're spending at Walmart, you can go to your local bike shop and probably find a good quality bike that has an upgrade path there for the same amount of money, and you're supporting local business. But I digress on that. I was going to say, we had a commenter on one of our old bike showcase videos about the ProCaliber, or not the ProCaliber, just the Excalibur, the entry-level one, that they were using it for a commuter. Do you look at this as a commuter bike?
It can be.
Okay.
Certainly, certainly. There was a time in my life where I only had one bike, and it was a mountain bike.
We're spoiled these days.
And I rode that bike to school. I raced that bike. I trail rode that bike. That was my bike.
Right.
And this bike can do anything you want it to do.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not the sharpest tool for all those jobs.
Right.
But it certainly can be done.
I'm going to link the Throwback Thursday up top so you could see Brandon's cruiser bike. The Thumper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was your first bike you bought with your EPP.
With my
but,
EP,
yes.
yes.
So as far as that goes, a little different from the first mountain bike he had. But all right, Brandon. Well, let's go ahead and get to the turkey as far as that goes, so people don't sit there and go, "Oh, Jesus Christ!" Let's get to the point. And let's go ahead. We'll start from front to back.
Okay.
Go over this bike, and then we'll close out.
Sounds good.
All right, Brandon, cut us in.
1, 2, 3.
Nice. All right.
So, starting up front like we always do.
Here, sometimes we go back to front.
Depends on how I feel.
Right.
So, every ProCaliber, regardless of the size, is going to come with 29-inch wheel set on there. It is a cross-country, entry-level racing bike, so you're only going to get 29-inch wheels. On this one, we have the Covies, the entry-level Covies. They do come out of the box with tubeless, so you're not going to get tubes. You are going to get sealant in there, all ready to go tubeless. This particular one comes with these nice Tandwall Maxxis Recons. These are the 2x2.4 tires. This bike is only designed in the rear to carry 2.4 capacity tires. So you're already maxed out as far as the manufacturer is concerned. I think you can go to 2.6. Give it a try. See what happens. I think there's room. F it. But that's
He's not going to come get you on the side of the road. Trust me, guys.
But that's a recommendation to stick with 2.4s, and that's what this bike is coming. I believe other sizes might come with the 2.2s, in which case you can always bump up to 2.4s later and still be within the recommendations.
Now this has a through axle too, I see, which is
through
great.
Axle. It is a Boost 110 by it's Boost in the front. Sorry, it's eluding me at the moment. 180 millimeter rotor in the front, and while we're up there, we see the caliper on there. It's a MT200 by Shimano. It's a single pot. It's fine for what the bike was designed for. Absolutely, that single pot with a 180 will do the job just fine. The fork up front is a Judy made by RockShox. Okay. It is an air fork. It does have a lockout. Manual lockout. There's no remote on this guy, and that's a decent fork. Down the road, you can always, it's a taper head tube, so the world's your oyster as far as upgrades are concerned. Again, Trek's recommendation, I think on every single bike they have is, don't stray within 10 millimeters travel either direction. So this is a 120 millimeter fork on here. If you want the bike to feel a little more snappy, a little bit better handling, go down to a 110. I don't even know if they make a 110 anymore. Right. But you can also bump up to a 130 if you wish.
Go 140, don't be a pussy. Without
messing up the geometry too much. I might stick to those recommendations a little bit more. While we're up here, a very basic bar stem combo.
Right.
Like I always say, this is a fantastic way to upgrade your bike for not a lot of money. Kind of make it your own. New grips, new bar, new stem, maybe bump it up to a 35 millimeter would be awesome for this bike. Maybe drop a little bit of weight off of there. And again, just to make it your own a little bit. You would not be sad to ditch these components, and don't even give them to your friends because they're not worth it. While we're up here, the shifter, it's a Shimano M61 12-speed shifter.
Okay.
Dior. Let's come down the frame here. Aluminum frame, hydroformed aluminum, of course. This is Trek's platinum aluminum, so their nicest aluminum. Not quite that next aluminum, which has a little bit better a little less environmental impact, but this is their high grade, nicest aluminum that Trek has to offer. And I must admit, I love this color. I love it with the...
It's an interesting
lavender?
combo.
What do they even call it? They call it, yeah, lavender haze. Perfect. I love it.
Bubba haze,
so it's
all around.
I find it very appealing, especially with the tan walls. You don't see this color very often, so
it's
I'm
very
all aboard.
soft.
I'm all aboard with this thing. Super
Isn't
cool.
lavender supposed to be a calming
Yeah, I guess
color,
so.
fragrant? Yeah, there you go. Okay, I'm calm.
From a bubble bath.
Right.
A very basic BSA bottom bracket on there. It is a Holotech crank. It's a Shimano like 5110. It's kind of a weird not off-brand, but entry-level crank on there. And you'll see it comes with a 30-tooth chainring on there. Now you can, if you have the legs, and I think everybody will because 30 is really small, you can bump up to a 34-tooth chainring without messing things up too badly in the shifting. Pair of really crappy pedals like Trek likes to do. Do yourself a favor, ditch those first day.
Those things are turds.
God, don't even bother, Trek.
Turd and punch bowl.
Suck. While we're up here, line dropper post. You know how I am about dropper posts.
B&W.
I just put a regular post in there. Get yourself a cheap carbon
Yeah.
post. It's a race bike. I never saw. That's beside the point. Anyways, the nice thing that they do, they don't just stock you with any old dropper post. They don't get one size and just fit them all. Depending on what size you get, they are going to adjust the post and the amount of drop you get for the size of the bike, which is nice. And they're all going to be a 31.6 in the diameter, but the drop will vary. Very basic saddle. They probably expect that you'll ditch that saddle right quick as well and get something that you prefer a little bit better. But I have found that this shape is not terrible.
Right.
All the ones that we sell with that saddle shape, they've been popular. People have been responding well to them. So not the worst thing. It doesn't look super sexy, but it's all right. It'll be all right.
It'll be all right.
So coming over to the drivetrain, most of our drivetrain parts are Dior 6100. This is a Shimano 12-speed. It's a 1051 spread on there, but it's nice. They give you the XT.
Yep.
I sure do like XT stuff. Really nice derailleur, and it works just fine. It works great with that M61 shifter. Everything is very cohesive, very, very well-performing group set on there for sure.
All right.
Kind of a cross-country setup they got here. They have only a 160 in the back because all your stopping power is in the front with a larger rotor.
Right.
So in the back, we're going to get a 160 rotor, that same M200 by Shimano, single pot rear derailleur, and the wheel is the exact same on the back as it is the front. It does give you some opportunities, and I thought the bike would be a little bit cooler if they didn't do this stuff, but you do have an opportunity to put a rack in here. There's rack mounts, as well as Bontrager's or Trek's integrated kickstand mount. Now, when I say entry-level race bike...
On a race bike, man, that's just whatever.
Yeah, I know. But through axle in the rear, I don't think the Excalibur's had that quite yet. So a nice upgrade that you have the stiffness and the convenience of a through axle front and rear on this particular frame. So that about does that, I guess.
All right, Brandon, give us a transition. Let's get out of here.
Bye.
All right, my friends. So there you have the overall view. You guys who have been with us for a while know how we do the bike showcases. We talk about it, show everything up close, and then we talk about it some more. Now, for that closing, I'm a customer. I come in. My budget's somewhere between $1,500 and $2,000. I like Singletrack. Maybe I don't want the complications involved with a full suspension bike. I mean, are you recommending this or are you recommending the Roscoe? Because at this point, I'm overlooking this one. I think I'm going to go to a Roscoe 6, or even if there's a good deal on a Roscoe 7 or something like that. Go
and
there.
I will probably even push you towards a Roscoe over this one. Again, entry-level racing, more cross-country. The Roscoe just is more capable. Yeah. It seems more fun. It looks better. It looks badass compared to this.
It is beefy.
And it's meant to be. They always say in the description, I don't really understand. It's meant to get rowdy. It's like, all right.
Really?
So that bike is more rowdy, I guess. But how I interpret that is, You can throw that bike around. It's just a tougher bike.
Damn.
It's just a more robust bike, more capable. Obviously, the wheels and the tires are more robust. Everything on the Roscoe. And I even think the Roscoe 7 is less expensive by a few $100s than this one.
Okay.
So if you're not concerned about being fast, man, get a Roscoe.
Okay.
And one other thing about this guy, you were alluding to the weight a little bit earlier. This thing, an entry-level aluminum hardtail, weighs 29.9 pounds in a medium.
Oh, man.
I don't know how they even accomplished that.
I didn't feel like 29 pounds.
I feel like I would have to try to make this bike 30 pounds if I if I was speccing it. I don't know where that 30 pounds comes from. And I know
The shock.
The shock. I think those cranks are probably pigs too. But God, that's a lot. That's a lot for a hardtail cross-country bike.
That is. I'm shocked.
I know. I was as well. So
it's like the first date and you realize they used a filter.
I go back and forth. I try to holler at people, don't worry about the weight, don't worry about the weight. But this thing is
supposed to be
freaking heavy.
Yeah, at that point, that's where it becomes relevant.
But there's plenty of room for improvement. Again, you can do a lot to this bike to drop that weight a little bit. Just getting rid of that stupid dropper post would probably get rid of 2 pounds. So there are things to be done.
Yeah.
But there's that.
There's that. Okay. So
probably between this, we did a head-to-head. I'll probably be pointing people to the Roscoe in probably 99% of the time.
All right. Well, maybe we'll do that for one of our bike shows coming up in February. We'll put some bikes head-to-head that came out there towards the latter half of 2025. Again, talk about the relevance, but which bike is going to be right for you. We'll do a nice little list of pros and cons for each one. So, all right, my friends. Brandon, anything else to add before we close this one out?
Not quite. Nah,
Eat it, Joe's.
I think we got it. Yeah.
So, okay. If you made it this far, God bless you, because we know it's hard to do sometimes. Hit the like, subscribe, bell notification icon, because it helps out the channel. It helps out the video immensely. Now, we're going to have some links down below. Trek Bicycle Stores of West Phoenix is the most important link, my friends. If you have any questions about today's video, comments, anything like that, you can always do that down below. Or you can follow that link. You can call Brandon, okay? Talk to one of his amazing team members, okay? Remember, I don't work here, okay? If you're in the area, stop in, say hi, okay? We love it when people do that. It's cool. I don't know. It's kind of like a pseudo-stalker.
Makes you
feel important in a creepy kind of way.
Makes me feel like people like me.
Yeah. Jesus. Remember when I said 2026 was going to be our year? Yeah, we won't go back to that statement. But no, seriously, guys, we appreciate everything as far as the comments coming in and stuff like that. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, it's the devil's work, but we need it. Social media, we do group rides, we do group hikes. It's a ton of fun. And I always say the only thing that's missing is you guys. So follow us there. Come out and join us on one of the activities. I guarantee you it will be a blast. Our affiliate link is the Amazon link. You follow that link, you make a qualifying purchase either from our store or just from anywhere on Amazon. We get a small commission, you're not charged anything additional, and it helps out with park pass money, gas money, and coffee money, the other trifecta we love so much here at Get Out Arizona. So it's a win-win for everybody. And at that point, my friend, seriously, what do we say at this point? And I want to emphasize this. Be kind to yourself and others. My Lord, has 2026 started out just ridiculously crazy. And I don't need to say anything more than that, but understand, it's so easy to be that bigger person, okay? Kindness is free, okay? So spread it out with abundance, all right? Kind to yourself and others. Be amazing stewards on that trail. I just did a ride out at Brown's Ranch the other day, and I was a little concerned because my last time out there, I was accosted by several hikers. Everybody was friendly. Talked to the volunteers. It was amazing, okay? Great stewardship.
Good day.
We're the ambassadors of our activity, okay? It kind of goes hand in hand with kind to yourself and others. So remember that. Amazing stewards out on the trail. And we have to ask, what are you waiting for?
Get out, Arizona.
Gosh darn right. My friends, we will see you on that next adventure. Take care, everybody. Brandon, we'll see you next week.